The JP Music Festival is a free community event organized by volunteers who want to bring the music of JP musicians to the neighborhood they love so much. On Saturday, September 6th, Pine Bank Field in Jamaica Plain will be jammed with over 4,000 people and perhaps one white squirrel for the 4th annual JP Music Festival organized by today's guest, Shamus Moynihan, president, and Rick Berlin, clerk of this massive event. Are you guys a president and a clerk? It doesn't.
He's the vice president now.
Oh, he's the vice president.
I've been bumped up.
Oh, you've been bumped up.
I was the secretary of interior decoration for a while. I got moved on.
All right, before we go on to your big event there, I just wanted to ask as JP residents and promoters how the the Porch event went.
It went excellent. I mean, there was probably 8,000 people. Yeah.
What was the experience like? Is it just for the people on the porch, or did
it's the happiest thing ever? You know, everybody was in a great mood. All ages, dogs, bikes, cars had to slow down. Every porch had a really great expanding and contracting audience. And
you mean on the street, though?
On the street?
Yeah, and the people on the porch.
Yeah, it was, and it felt so neighborly, you know. It's
one of our biggest sponsors, Tres Gatos, had the whole day. I mean, it was swarmed, you know, and as well as the Galway House. You know.
All right. Well, what I was going to say is, why is it that you guys have the JP Music Fest is so well organized? If people haven't been, you have 2 stages, right? And the instant one is done, this tech is all set up. But that's because you guys really work in the business. How difficult is it to keep it going year after year?
Really difficult.
You know,
is it just because of who you know and you work with regularly?
One of the things for those of us that do it, and it's not really just Shamus and myself, we got 7 people that work really hard, and then we got other people that have been helping us raise money, and a lot of volunteers that day. It's a great group effort. But I would say that we don't really get to experience the festival. We're backstage. Where are you? You're supposed to be here now. You're going to be late in 2 minutes, and you've got to be on, you know, it's that kind of thing. And, but we have great stage managers. We have an amazing PA system.
The sound is great every year, and you got the food trucks there. Now, how many people volunteered to appear, and for how many were there room on the program?
At least 10.
Are you talking about bands?
Bands. No, I mean, how many people all together said, please put me on the JP Music Fest?
130.
130, and how many are appearing on set?
20.
And so how does that feel, gentlemen?
It sucks. It sucks saying no to people, you know?
You feel embarrassed that you have to say no to them, or
it hurts.
But do they realize, well, we already have one classical harpist. I'm not sure that we have room for 4, you know what I mean?
Well, you brought up a very good point. It has to be genre eclectic as much as possible.
Yeah.
And we try to do that. We fail. You know, yes. We let them know that we failed. And there are some bands that we have played every year that we want back, and others that played maybe once or twice that aren't coming back right away. It is an ongoing thing. Our goal is, if we can ever raise enough money to have a 2-day event, which we have 40 bands instead. You know, but it's a very painful thing, because those of us who do music know how awful it is to be told no to do this thing that's so much fun.
Right, but does you have to take into account not so much the feelings of the people that are performing as what's going to please the audience, right? And you have to do both, yeah. And I mean, there must be there's a lot of parents bring their little kids that are dancing, and you know, it just.
Well, here's a note. I have a note.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
And none of the bands get paid. None of the committee gets paid. None of the volunteers get paid.
Yes.
So we're trying to, in a very friendly and engaging way, encourage people on the day of the event to maybe kick in $1 or $2, or slide their credit card through a Square, and we have some people that are going to help us do that this year. So those of you that are coming to the festival, we'd love to have you support us for next year because it's a real slog to raise the money it costs just to put this thing on.
It costs about $30,000.
I was just going to say, if people look at your website, you have all kinds of imaginative fundraisers. I don't know if it's you, gents, or some of your PR people that are having these events, but the community turning out. So that means JP is chucking out of its pocket $30,000. So
we're not the only game in town.
Yeah.
Everybody's got
exactly. No, it's $30,000, and the Galway House, Trace Gatos, JP Licks. I mean, they all shell out for this.
The Haven.
Now, gentlemen, a little squirrel told me that JP Licks is debuting a special flavor of ice cream for this.
That's correct. It's called Squirrel Butt Zipper, and it's going to be available in every JP Licks for the entire month of August.
And what is Squirrel Butt Zip?
It is peanut butter ice cream with salted peanuts and
other goodies.
Yes.
All right, and that it refers to a band.
Squirrel
yes.
We have one guy who's a friend of ours. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but he alone is responsible, out of his own pocket and out of his friends and out of his connections around the community, over $5,500 towards this thing by himself.
Yeah. See, but you set a standard for the rest of the city. I mean, there's other things that would like to be in your shadow, and it's just not happening. It's you know, is it because JP is an artsy place and everybody thinks, well, because JP has, you know, Wake Up the Earth and the World's Fair and all these other things that they, you know, it just seems like, how come you guys can always be organized?
I would say, go ahead. I mean,
I don't really know how we do it.
Oh, okay. But like that Porch thing seemed, you know, when I read about that, I realized that some other place that has done that before, but to have the magnitude of that is to get people to the porches, old people's porches, you know, and you have this wide variety of music.
There's a couple of things. One is that we're not in competition with Porch Fest. They're supporting us, we support them. It's the same thing in a way.
Yeah.
The second thing is Somerville does a great job with the arts. They always have.
Yeah.
Somerville, Cambridge as well. But we're prejudiced about our hood, you know, as everybody is, I suppose.
Sure.
And I'm not saying we do it better than anybody else, but we do it less expensive. 30 grand is cheap.
Yeah, but nobody else has such a wide variety of things there. Now, what do you suggest about people coming? Is there a time, like in the first part, is it more family friendly, and at the end part, is it more headbanging, or how have you arranged the music?
Spontaneous Celebrations really helps us out.
Yeah, they're another famous group.
Yeah, exactly. And they do a whole kids, they basically run our kids thing.
Yeah.
So.
But is that more earlier in the day, like you start at noon? And
we start at noon and we go all day.
Yeah.
So.
I would say get there early.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another hard thing. Whoever plays the first 2 or 3 slots has the smallest audience. At the very end, it begins to taper out and it's more party. But there's no bad language off the stage, hopefully. And, you know, and it's tough to I mean, we had this battle of the bartender bands, and the winner of that event plays the festival, and they're going to be early. You know, just because they're not a working band the way all these other bands are.
Right. It must be hard. On top of having to say no to all these people, then you got the egos about the best slots and things.
There's some of that, but it's expected, but not nasty.
I know. Well, it's just a model for the rest of the city. Now, on your website, you post the order of the bands just before?
We haven't decided on that yet.
Oh, because that's
yeah.
All right. Okay.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you for the work that you do.
Chris,
thank you to your sponsors.
This is an annual thing
yes,
we do with
yes,
you.
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Thank you.